Oh, are we on? Hey, guess what we're doing today? We're building a gasoline shed. That's right, a gasoline shed. Okay, here's our building materials. We got a bunch of logs over there. There's 6 of them over there and 3 here, making a total of 9. They have already been peeled, as you can see, and I've already treated these to keep them from rotting in the ground with that solution in that bucket right there. I'll explain what that is later. But we're going to be digging some holes to set some of these posts in. Now, 2 of these are 10 feet long. And the rest of them are going to be 8 feet long or shorter. I'm actually going to cut off all of them to a certain extent once I get them in the ground, so I know exactly what I'm dealing with. I was not able to dig the holes as deep as I wanted to, just because I ran into bedrock at about 28 inches or so. I thought I'd get them in at least 32 inches, but that's not going to happen. So we're just going to have to make do with what we are. If you guys would like to see me peeling these logs, here's a short clip. Was that not fun? Okay, anyway, let's gather up some of our implements of destruction, like this shovel right here, and we'll go over and take a look at the post holes that we've already dug. Okay, here is our post hole digger, which hasn't been working all that well because I'm running into gravel and bedrock about 12 to 18 inches down. So I've basically been digging these out basically with my hand, believe it or not. Here's where the old stand was. I cut them down, but the ground is still frozen here. Just no way to dig them out. I tried digging this one out, and you get down about just below the overburden, and it's frozen hard as a rock yet. So I'm going to be scraping this all off and letting the sun get to it, because I have 3 more holes to dig. We've got this one, and this one, and this one. This is going to be the front of the shed, and then there's going to be 3 corresponding holes back here about 6 feet. And I can't get into the ground here very easily right now, so I'm just going to scrape off the overburden this afternoon and let the sun do its work. It's supposed to be up into the 70s, believe it or not, but it's the end of May, and the ground is still frozen right where I'm standing. But over here, for some odd reason, I had no trouble digging down other than all of the rocks. Anyway, our barrel sits right there. There's going to be another barrel coming up. The stand that I had, this one that I cut down, kind of got well, bothered a little bit by a bear, and my barrel was actually laying on the ground when I got up last fall on the last run. And I don't want that to happen again, so I'm going to build an actual little shed, and maybe that will, well, it'll make it more convenient for getting gasoline, you know, in inclement weather, obviously, but hopefully it'll be a little bit more bear-proof, I hope. But anyway, that's the plan. Our chore for right now is to just scrape this overburden off, and I'm not going to show you that because I'm just going to take a shovel and scrape away the dirt until it gets down to where it's frozen. That's not all that exciting. But anyway, that's what I'm going to do, and I'll see you in a minute. Okay, back at the log pile here. I've got 3 logs. I got to put 1 more coat on each one of the super secret formula that I invented / looked up on the internet, and we're going to let them dry overnight, and we're going to start again tomorrow. We're going to put our first 3 logs in, and I'll go through that with you, and we're going to backfill them. And this is the really exciting part, is I'm going to bring gravel up from the creek, and that's going to be really awesome. So we'll do that like right away tomorrow morning. I don't want to put clay, you know, back next to these, even though they're treated. We're going to put a good layer of gravel underneath them, and then backfill them with gravel for drainage, obviously. Anyway, that's what we're doing. We're going to coat these real quick and then call it a day. Black! Black! What is that? That's disgusting. It's pretty nasty stuff. Actually, it's all organic, believe it or not. But believe it or not, it's organic. We're just going to take this old paintbrush here. We're just going to slather this on like so. We'll do the whole end of the log here up to about 36 inches, I suppose. Get her up above ground level. That'll give her 4 coats, the magic number. I'll have to turn this. I had the wrong shirt on that last clip, so if you see that my shirt is different, it's because I'm dealing with dirt and nasty chemicals, and that shirt's too nice. Anyway, we're going to finish coating these last 3, and then I'll see you in a minute. Okay, day 2. Actually, it's not day 2. It's been 5 or 6 days for me, but I just started filming, so there you go. Today we are going to be putting our posts in the ground, at least 3 of them. So we're going to be measuring these logs and cutting them off to a more appropriate length because they're all a little bit too long. So that's what we're going to do. My holes that I dug yesterday were all about 27 inches long. That's about as deep as I could get them. Just because of all the gravel and everything, it just wasn't worth it for me to go any deeper than that. So we're going to call 27 inches good. And as soon as the ground is thawed out, we're going to dig the 3 back holes for the back part of the shed. I don't know if I'll get that done today. I haven't checked yet, but we'll get that done if we can. Right now, we're just going to focus on measuring the first 3 logs for the front, and then we're going to cut those down a little bit so we don't have to carry them way the heck over there. They'll be lighter. And I already ran to the creek once for a load of sand and gravel. I didn't take you along on that because my hands were full and everything, bare rifle and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, we're going to measure these and get them cut. I'm not going to show you that because, you know, it gets a little redundant. Anyway, I'll be back in a minute. Okay, our bucket of sand and gravel, actually that's a lot finer gravel than I was probably thinking I wanted, but I'll make up for that later. I'm going to set our center post in right now in that bar hole. And we're just going to it's a little damp because it, you know, came from the creek, obviously, but it should allow for better drainage than clay. That is for sure. I don't know how many of these it's going to take. That ought to be more than enough. That ought to be more than enough. Actually, the bottom of this hole is a really huge boulder that I don't think I could get out of there if I tried. So we're just going to go and start backfilling this bad boy, and we'll waggle it a little bit as we go. I'm pretty sure it's going to take at least 2. Stand still. Okay, because I'm having trouble with some of my video clips not playing correctly, I'm going to have to reshoot some of this and just show you what I did, because I think it's important to the video. To get these half logs mounted, what I did was I put them up against the log. Obviously it wasn't notched at that point, and I scribed a line top and bottom. Then I put this here 1 by 1 up to the log and scribed a line this way. This gave me my depth of what my notch was going to be. I did this on all 3 logs across the front. Oh, there they are. There they are. And the back as well. I then took my chainsaw and notched these all out, and they fit pretty close, other than some of my logs are off just a little bit, but it worked out pretty well. I just wish that the video of me actually doing it had worked out, but for some oddball reason it's very, I don't know, stuttery and jumpy, and I can't figure out how to fix it. So this is just the best I can do under the circumstances. Now for my Eve logs and my Ridge logs, I basically did the same thing. I set the log up on top of my post and scribed a line on either side. It did a little bit oversized so that I didn't have to take it down and cut it too many times. And I did the same thing. I put the 1x1 up on top of the log itself, then scribed another line up across the top. Of course, obviously this notch wasn't there yet. And I did the same thing, and that kept everything square, and all my logs came out notched pretty darn close. I was pretty happy with the way it came out, even though I tell you, it's really hard to use a chainsaw up this high when you're a short little guy like me. So anyway, there you have it. That is the end of part 1, putting the posts in the ground, the beams across, the ridge beams and the Eve beams, and just enough cross pieces to keep it sturdy. Part 2 is putting the roof on so that I can actually start using it. Part 3, which is going to take a while, is going to be milling the logs into boards and then putting up the walls and the door. That's going to take a long while, so part 3 is going to be a long time in coming. Anyway, I didn't make this a tutorial because, quite honestly, I just did this on the fly. What I pictured in my head was not the way I ended up building it. As I was assembling it, I figured, you know, this might be a better way of doing it than what I planned, and that's basically what I did. I just, whatever felt right, I guess. So it's not a tutorial. I don't think you can do this wrong. I think if you just kind of watch what I did, just using like key principles on how to secure logs together is the most important part, and then just do whatever feels right to you. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. It's starting to rain again. This is day number 5 of precipitation. We had 1 day of snow and 4 days of rain if you count this, and it's starting to rain harder now. So I'm going to go back to the cabin because there is a storm coming.